Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you the cherry blossom cardigan. It's made up of the main part, the sleeves, the edging around the main piece, and decorations. First, create the main part. Once it's done, make the sleeves and attach them. Next, crochet the edging around the main piece. Finally, make the decorative elements and attach them. The garment comes in multiple sizes. The making method is the same, but the stitch count and row count are slightly different. Later, I'll demonstrate and explain using the smallest size as an example. For other sizes, you can first learn the method, then follow the corresponding chart to crochet. Let's start by making the main piece. It's divided into the body, the right front panel, and the left front panel. The back panel and shoulders are joined together. The left and right here are distinguished based on the actual wearing position. First, cast on and crochet the body. Then crochet the 3 front panels separately. Once completed, join the shoulder areas of the front and back panels. First, crochet the body. Start with a chain cast on, then crochet back and forth along the starting chain. The stitch techniques used include chain stitches and double crochets. Single crochet. Please watch my demonstration of the specific crochet method before you begin the actual crocheting. First, refer to the gauge swatch chart on the pattern diagram. Refer to the motif crocheting method shown in the video and crochet a gauge swatch. Then, based on the measured dimensions, adjust your hand tension or switch to the appropriate hook size to meet the size requirements of the gauge swatch. The original yarn used here is not easy to undo during the crocheting process. It's recommended that you learn the method first before proceeding with the crocheting. You can also use yarn that's easy to undo for practice. To make it easier to watch, I'll demonstrate using cotton yarn here. The colors will be random. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the detail page of the corresponding product and the paper instructions. Begin with a chain stitch. Then refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding number of chain stitches. Make sure not to crochet the chains too tightly here. You can keep them a bit loose. Also, since there are many starting stitches, we can mark every 30 or 50 stitches. Place a marker once every 30 or 50 stitches. You can use a stitch marker to pick up one strand of a chain stitch for marking. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use safety pins or paper clips instead. After completing, check the stitch count. Note that the loop on the hook is not included in the count. This completes the cast on. Now start working on row 1. Let me explain again here. From now on, I'll demonstrate and explain using the smallest size as an example. For other sizes, please learn first, and then follow your own chart for crocheting. I won't repeat this explanation later. First, make 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet. Next, pick up the 5th chain space from right to left. Pick up the braid of this chain stitch, the top strand. Work 1 double crochet. One chain space. Skip 1 stitch below, moving to the left. Pick up the braid of the next chain stitch, the top strand. Work 1 double crochet. One chain space. Chain stitches used for casting on. Always insert the hook into the top strand of the corresponding braid. I won't explain in detail later. Skip 1 stitch to the left. Work 1 double crochet. Continue by skipping 1 stitch, alternately working 1 chain and 1 double crochet. Repeat this 5 times. One time. Two times. Three times. Four times. Five times. Check after completion. There are 7 chain spaces here. Continue downward by picking up chains and working 2 double crochets in each corresponding stitch. Then work 10 chains. After completion, skip 1 stitch to the left. Then work 3 double crochets correspondingly, one by one. Then skip 1 stitch, alternately work 1 chain and 1 double crochet, work 9 times. Continue working 2 double crochets after completion. Then work 10 chain stitches. Start from 1 stitch to the left of the previous 10 chain stitches. Work to those 10 chain stitches. This is the crocheting pattern for this row. Afterward, continue crocheting following this pattern. Pay attention, after completing the 10 chain stitches, skip 1 stitch underneath. Continue crocheting downward, refer to the previous sections or the chart for details. The last group here isn't a complete group. Just follow the same crocheting pattern as the previous group. Pick up the last chain space on the edge and work 1 double crochet. At this point, row 1 is completed. You can now remove the stitch marker from the beginning chain. Next, move on to row 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, and correspond to 1 stitch on the edge below. Turn the work over. Pick up the second double crochet from the left side. Work 1 double crochet, insert the hook into the stitch. When crocheting on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch is located above and to the left of the corresponding stitch. Work into the corresponding stitch. After completing that, continue with 1 chain stitch. Skip the chain space below. Pick up the double crochet and work a double crochet. Work 1 chain stitch. Then alternate 1 double crochet for 5 times. All the double crochets are worked into the double crochets of the previous row. After completing that, pick up the chain space on the left and work 1 double crochet. Insert the hook into the stitch of the adjacent double crochet, and work 1 double crochet. Then work 6 chain stitches. Next, pick up the large chain space formed by the 10 skipped chain stitches on the left side, position it in the center above, work 1 single crochet. Then work 6 chain stitches. Skip 2 double crochets on the left. Then slip into one position and work 1 double crochet. Correspondingly work 1 double crochet into the adjacent chain space. After that, pick up the positions of the double crochets one by one. Alternate between 1 double crochet and 1 chain stitch. Repeat this pattern 7 times. All the double crochets are worked into the double crochets above. Once completed, start from the position of the left side double crochet, pick up the stitches and chain spaces, and work 3 double crochets correspondingly, one by one. Then work 6 chain stitches. Pick up the left side chain space, and work 1 single crochet. 6 chain stitches. From the left side of the previous single crochet to the position of this single crochet. This is the crocheting pattern for this row. Afterwards, everyone can continue crocheting by following the earlier pattern or chart. Pay attention that the ending is not a complete group. Just follow the crocheting pattern as before. When reaching the end and meeting the starting chain position of the previous row, pick up the chain at the top of the beginning chain here. That is, the chain position on the right side of the double crochet stitch at this point. The back side of this chain is facing you now. Pick up the 2 strands on the top edge. Insert the hook and work 1 double crochet. The second row is now completed. Next, work the third row. First, make 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. From now on, the 3 chain beginning chain will count as 1 double crochet. I won't repeat this explanation later. Then, turn the work. The beginning chain corresponds to the double crochet position on the edge below. Pick up the left side double crochet and work 1 double crochet, 1 chain space. Skip the chain stitch. Pick up the double crochet position to the left and work a double crochet. Then work 1 chain stitch and 1 double crochet. Repeat this 4 times. All the double crochets are worked into the double crochets from the previous row. After completing, pick up the chain space to the left and work a double crochet. Work 1 double crochet into the adjacent double crochet position. Then work 6 chain stitches. Next, pick up the chain space of the 6 chains to the left. Work 1 single crochet. Here, insert the hook next to the previous single crochet and work. Then pick up the single crochet stitch on the left side. Work 1 single crochet. Continue working 1 single crochet into the adjacent chain space. Then work 6 chain stitches. Skip 2 double crochets to the left. Correspondingly work 1 double crochet. Continue crocheting referring to the chart. When meeting the turning chain of the previous row, pick up at the top position, which is the 3rd chain from the bottom up. Pick up both threads there and work 1 double crochet. Row 3 is completed. Now work on row 4 downward. First, make 3 beginning chains as turning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the 2nd double crochet position to the left and work a double crochet. Work 1 double crochet into the adjacent chain space. Work 1 double crochet into the stitch position on the left. Then alternate crocheting 1 chain and 1 double crochet. Repeat this pattern 3 times. Then pick up the chain space and stitch to the left. Work 2 double crochets correspondingly. Then skip 2 stitches. Now reach the position of 6 chains. First work 6 chains. Then work next to the single crochet of the previous row. Pick up the hole and work 1 single crochet. Pick up the stitch of the adjacent single crochet, work 3 single crochets correspondingly. After completing, continue picking the chain space to the left and work 1 single crochet, then work 6 chains. Skip 2 stitches to the left, work 3 double crochets correspondingly. For the remaining part, please continue crocheting according to the chart. Finish the last stitch. Then the 4th row is completed. At this point, you can check if the starting edge of the work is straight. If it's slightly uneven, you can gently stretch it a bit. If it's quite curled, you can cast on again, and crochet. Make the starting chains looser this time. Also, refer to the chart here to check the dimensions. For rows 5 and 6, please crochet directly following the chart. Pay attention, the number of chain stitches in row 6 has changed. Make sure not to crochet the wrong stitches. After completing that, crochet row 7. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Insert the hook into the 2nd stitch from the left and make a double crochet. 1 chain stitch. Skip the left side chain stitch. Move left, correspondingly make 3 double crochets. Correspondingly make 3 double crochets. Move left, correspondingly make 3 double crochets. 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Crochet 1 double crochet downward. Now reaching the position of the large chain space. The position of the large chain space. Now reaching the position of the large chain space. Pick up through the space and crochet 2 double crochets. 7 chain stitches between them. Then pick up at the single crochet position to crochet. Here, first skip 1 single crochet position to the left. Starting from the next single crochet, pick up each stitch correspondingly and crochet 7 single crochets. There's 1 single crochet position left at the back. Skip it without crocheting. Then crochet 7 chain stitches. Pick up through the chain space to the left and crochet 2 double crochets. Here, crochet close to the position of the double crochet. Pick up the adjacent stitch and crochet 1 double crochet. 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Crochet 1 double crochet. Crochet 2 double crochets into the large chain space on the left side. Seven chain stitches. Skip 1 stitch in the single crochet area. Pick up each stitch correspondingly and crochet 7 single crochets. Skip the last remaining stitch, then crochet 7 chain stitches. The crocheting method for the following part is the same as before. You can refer to the earlier steps, or the chart to continue crocheting. Finish the last stitch. Row 7 is now completed. For the remaining rows on the body, please continue crocheting while referring to the chart. If you run out of yarn, you can tie a knot to join a new yarn. Next, I'll demonstrate the method. I'll use this swatch for the demonstration. Join the yarn on the wrong side of the fabric. The side of the first row stitch texture that looks neat will be considered the right side of the entire fabric. Also, the starting yarn tail should be on the left side of the fabric. Then on the wrong side, near the fabric's edge, take the new yarn and tie a knot with the leftover yarn. For now, leave the yarn tails as they are. This is the method for joining yarn with a knot. After completing the body section, there's no need to fasten off the yarn. Continue crocheting to the chest panel area. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the body section. Next, we'll crochet the chest panel area. For the smallest size, crochet the right front chest panel first in order. Some sizes start with the left front chest panel first. The crocheting method is the same. Continue working back and forth using the yarn tail from the body. At certain points along the neckline side, you'll need to decrease stitches. I'll explain this in 2 parts. The new stitch techniques used include half double crochet decrease, and double crochet 3 stitches together. For the largest size, a single crochet decrease is also used. Each of these uses one new stitch technique. Carry the yarn across. Please watch my demonstration. First, crochet the first section. I'll use this swatch for the demonstration. Continue from the previous yarn tail. Start with 3 turning chains. Turn the work. Follow the chart downward. Crochet to the last double crochet stitch position in this area. Complete 1 corresponding stitch. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. This completes the first row. Then, pick up from the previous row and work back and forth. Everyone, finish the remaining part of the first section. After that, crochet the second section. I'll continue the demonstration with this swatch. Continue from the previous yarn tail. Start with 1 chain stitch. This is the turning chain for single crochet. It doesn't count as 1 stitch. Then turn the work. Pick up 1 stitch from the edge below. Work 1 single crochet. Then make 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch underneath. Pick up the next chain space to the left and work 1 single crochet. Make 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Pick up the chain space and work 1 single crochet. Make 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Pick up the chain space and work 1 half double crochet. Make 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Work 3 half double crochets one by one into the next stitches. Then make 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch underneath. Continue crocheting according to the chart next. Complete the last stitch. Row 1 is done. Work row 2. First, follow the chart to the end. Before the position of DC3 tog. Reach the corresponding position, pick into the left side hole, and work an incomplete double crochet. Yarn over, insert. Yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain on the hook. That's an incomplete double crochet. Then pick up the stitch to the left. Work 2 incomplete double crochets one by one. 1, 2. There are 4 loops on the hook now. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the DC3 tog. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. Row 2 is done this way. Move on to row 3. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Then turn the work over. Skip the decrease position of the previous row underneath. Pick up the stitch of the double crochet, and the chain space to the left. Work a double crochet decrease correspondingly. First, work 2 incomplete double crochets. 1, 2. There are 3 loops on the hook now. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the double crochet decrease. Continue crocheting following the chart. Finish the last stitch. Row 3 is now done. Now work on row 4. First, crochet to the end according to the chart, before the position of DC3 tog. When reaching the corresponding position, work 3 incomplete double crochets downward respectively. Finally, yarn over and draw through in once. Complete the DC3 tog. Leave the next beginning chain stitch unworked. This completes row 4. Now work on row 5. First, chain 2 to begin. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch on the edge going downward. Work a double crochet decrease to the left. Continue crocheting following the chart. Complete the last stitch. Row 5 is now complete. For rows 6 to 9, please follow the chart directly. After completing those, work on row 10. The starting position for this row has changed. Also, the yarn tail is some distance away from the starting point. To reduce cutting the yarn, we'll carry the yarn across. Stretch out the loop at the end. Then bring the yarn ball, or fabric through from the inside. Gently tighten. Then turn the work over. Look to the left on the chart to find the carry yarn arrow indicator. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch. Then draw the yarn through. Make slight adjustments. The carried yarn here should be level with the fabric edge. This completes the yarn carrying technique. For other sizes, if the yarn tail is far from the starting position, if the carried yarn looks messy, you can also reattach the yarn and crochet again. The yarn joining method was demonstrated when crocheting the back piece. Feel free to find and learn from the corresponding position as needed. Make 1 chain stitch to start. Work 1 single crochet into the same position. Continue crocheting by referring to the chart for the following steps. Complete the last stitch. Row 10 is now done. Proceed to crochet row 11 downward. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work. Then refer to the chart for crocheting. Leave the remaining stitches unworked after completing. Row 11 is done. Now crochet row 12. The starting position is also at a certain distance away from the yarn tail. You'll need to carry the yarn across. Turn the work. Insert the hook at the corresponding position. Hook the yarn out and then adjust the tension of the carried yarn. The yarn carry is now completed. Make 1 chain stitch to start the next row. Work 1 single crochet at the corresponding position. Crochet 1 chain stitch in the adjacent stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Work 1 half double crochet. 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch. Match and crochet 2 double crochets 1 by 1. After completing, proceed to cut the yarn. First, secure with 1 chain stitch. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. Here, weave the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. You can weave in a few more stitches for better security. Treat the remaining yarn tails using the same method, and hide them to the wrong side of the fabric. Please finish this part on your own. That's the explanation for crocheting the right front chest piece. Next, I'll explain how to do the single crochet decrease for the largest size. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. In reality, you need to pick 2 chain spaces for crocheting. The position on my swatch is arbitrary. First, insert into the left side space to make an incomplete single crochet. Insert, yarn over and pull through. There are 2 loops on your hook. This is an incomplete single crochet. Then pick the left side space. Make 1 incomplete single crochet. Insert, yarn over and pull through. Now there are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The single crochet decrease is done. That's all for the new stitch technique used in the largest size. Next, I'll explain the back piece in order. To begin, you need to join the yarn again. Then work back and forth in rows. It's also divided into 2 sections. For some rows in the second section, you'll work each side separately, left and right. We'll use one new stitch technique, slip stitch. Watch me demonstrate. I'll continue using this swatch for the demo, with the first row of the completed front piece facing you, right side. Then look to the left following the chart. Find the corresponding position for the starting chain of the back piece. Insert the hook. Pick up the yarn. Make a slip knot. Place it onto the crochet hook. Pull through. Adjust slightly. Make sure the knot doesn't show on the right side. Then chain 3 to begin. Continue crocheting by following the chart. Finish the last stitch. Row 1 is now complete. Now work on row 2. Start with chain 3 to begin. Turn the work. Pick up the chain space to the left and work 1 double crochet. Continue crocheting by referring to the chart. The last 2 double crochets are worked into the chain space at the edge. This completes row 2. For the remaining rows, keep working back and forth. Everyone please finish it on your own. At this point, part 1 is now complete. Now let's move on to part 2. Begin working rows 2 by continuing to crochet back and forth. Starting from row 2, you'll need to carry the yarn across. A half double crochet needs to be worked at the centered position. For rows 3 through the remaining rows, you'll need to divide the work into 2 separate sections. First, continue from the previous yarn tail. Crochet one side. After completing one side, set it aside, with the right side facing you on row 3. Look to the left and refer to the chart to locate the other side. Find the corresponding position for the beginning chain. Attach the yarn there. Then continue crocheting the remaining side. At the starting position of the last row of the remaining side, you'll need to work a chain and slip stitch to carry the yarn. Let me demonstrate the method. I'll use this small swatch for the demonstration. First, make a chain 1 to begin. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch on the edge going downward. Pick up a chain space to the left and work 1 slip stitch. This brings the yarn to the chain space position. After that, continue crocheting by referring to the chart. Later, when you encounter a yarn tail close to the starting position, you can also use the slip stitch method to carry the yarn. You always start by making a beginning chain, then match, and work slip stitches 1 by 1, to bring the yarn to the starting position. You can also use the carry yarn technique across depending on the situation. Continue crocheting the rest of this row going downward. Once completed, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Everyone can complete this part on their own. At this point, the back chest panel section is finished. Next, we'll explain the left front chest panel area. Position the first row of the completed chest panel facing you, then refer to the chart to find the corresponding position for the beginning chain. Attach the yarn there, then crochet back and forth. The first section is worked even without increases or decreases. In the second section, you'll need to decrease on the side near the neckline. Toward the last few rows, some positions will require skipping stitches. No new stitches or techniques are introduced here. Everyone can directly refer to the chart. Complete the left front chest panel crocheting. With that, the chest panel area is fully explained. Next, we'll proceed with the shoulder connection. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch, mainly demonstrating the method. Everyone should follow their actual project as reference. The connection is made on the wrong side of the piece. Align one front chest panel's shoulder with the corresponding shoulder on the back piece, with the right side of the fabric facing inward, and the wrong side facing outward. Then join yarn at one end of the edge. Here, when you encounter a stitch, pick up the stitch. When you encounter a beginning chain, pick up both strands of the top chain stitch. After joining the yarn, make one chain to begin. Correspondingly work one single crochet stitch. Chain 1. Then move down to a position 1 chain space apart. Pick up both sides and work one single crochet through both layers. Here, when you encounter a stitch, pick up the stitch. When you encounter a chain space, pick up the chain space. If you meet yarn tails from color changes, place them on top and wrap them into the stitch. Work into the corresponding stitch. After completing, continue with one chain stitch. Then skip approximately the same distance. Work one single crochet. One chain stitch. Continue connecting in this way. After finishing this edge, you can flip it to the right side to check. The edges of the fabric look neat and flat. Finally, cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. One side of the shoulder is now connected. The other side is done the same way. You can complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation of the shoulder connection, and the entire main part is now fully explained. Next, we will make the sleeves. Each sleeve is divided into two sections, the sleeve body and the cuff. Start with a chain ring method. Work back and forth in rounds to crochet the sleeve body. Then pick up stitches on the other side to crochet the cuff. After completing, attach it to the sleeve opening on the main body. Let's start with explaining the sleeve body. The pattern used here is the same as the main body, but the crocheting method is different. Begin with a chain stitch. Work the corresponding number of chain stitches. After completing, remember to check the stitch count. And smooth out the chains. Make sure the side with the braid is facing up. Find the first chain stitch position. Pick up the top strand of the chain stitch loop. Work one slip stitch to connect. Tighten the slip stitch that connects the beginning and end to avoid extra stitches later. This completes the foundation chain using the magic ring method. Now check the fabric. Make sure the side with the braid is facing outward. Don't twist the chain stitches. Start working the first round. Make 3 beginning chains. This starting chain corresponds to the chain stitch position below. Work one chain space downward. Then skip 1 chain stitch. Pick up the braid of 1 chain stitch. Work 1 double crochet. One chain space. Continue skipping 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet. Later, follow the chart to continue crocheting. Finish the last stitch. Smooth out the fabric downward. Make sure the textured side of the first round stitches all face outward. Don't twist the fabric. Then find the position of the beginning chain. At the 3rd chain from the bottom up, pick up 2 threads and work a slip stitch to connect. Make sure to tighten it as well. This completes the first round. Next, crochet the second round. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Here, the turning chain aligns with the beginning chain below. Turn the work over. Pick the stitch of the adjacent double crochet to the left. Work 1 double crochet. Continue crocheting according to the chart next. After completing the last double crochet, work 1 chain stitch. Pick up the position of the beginning chain below. At the 3rd chain, pick up 2 threads and work a slip stitch to connect. Pull tight. The second round is complete. Work the 3rd round downward. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Work 1 chain space downward. Leave the chain space below unworked. Pick the double crochet position on the left and work a double crochet. Continue crocheting according to the chart next. Complete the last stitch as a double crochet. Work a slip stitch to connect at the top of the beginning chain. Pull tight. The 3rd round is complete. Continue to crochet the 4th round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Insert the hook into the double crochet position on the left and work a double crochet. Continue crocheting referring to the chart. Finish the last chain stitch. Skip the chain space below. Hook a slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain. Pull tight. The 4th round is complete. For the remaining rounds, follow the same method. Crochet back and forth in rounds. No new stitches or techniques will be introduced. Simply refer to the chart for crocheting. Once done, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the sleeve body. Next, we'll crochet the sleeve edge. Sleeve edge. I'll use this small swatch for demonstration. Position the front side of the first round of the sleeve body facing up, with the side where you cast on facing upward. Then locate the starting chain position of the sleeve body. Pick up the insertion point of the adjacent double crochet to the left. Pick up the remaining half of the chain stitch. The 2 strands like this. Insert hook and join yarn. Make 1 chain stitch to start after completing. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet stitch. Skip the chain stitch position on the left side. Pick up 1 chain stitch position. Crochet stitches were made on this side. Pick up the insertion point and insert hook. Make 1 single crochet stitch. You can weave in the yarn as you crochet here. Continue skipping 1 chain stitch position on the adjacent side. Pick up at the next chain stitch. There is a hole underneath this chain stitch. You can insert hook into the chain space, or pick up the 2 strands at the edge of the corresponding chain stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet stitch. Skip 1 stitch respectively moving backward. Make 1 corresponding single crochet stitch. When encountering a chain space, pick up the space. When reaching the insertion point of a stitch, crochet correspondingly at its insertion position. You can also refer to the chart for details. Continue crocheting downward. Finish at the last stitch position. Everyone check the stitch count. Finally, pick the first single crochet, stitch and crochet a slip stitch. The vertical braid on the left side is the beginning chain. Skip it. The adjacent horizontal braid is the stitch of the first single crochet. Insert the hook and crochet a slip stitch. Pull tight after completing. The first round is now completed. Now crochet the second round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Crochet 1 double crochet in the same position, which is the spot where the previous slip stitch was made. Then skip 4 stitches to the left. Pick up the stitch of the next one. Crochet 2 double crochets. Two chain stitches. Continue with 2 more double crochets in the same position. I consider the stitches crocheted in one spot as one shell stitch pattern. Continue by skipping 4 stitches downward. Crochet 1 shell stitch pattern. Start with 2 double crochets. Then make 2 chain stitches, followed by 2 more double crochets. Complete the shell stitch pattern. In the following sections, skip 4 stitches each time, and crochet another shell stitch pattern. Pay attention to the ending part. The number of skipped stitches between shell stitches changes. Please refer to the chart carefully. Finish the last pattern. Skip the remaining stitches. Go down to the turning chain position. Hook into the same insertion point and crochet 2 double crochets. One chain stitch. Then pick up the top of the turning chain. Crochet 1 single crochet to connect. This completes the second round. Continue to the third round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Then pick up from underneath the chain space on the right side. Crochet 1 double crochet. Then move left and pick into the shell stitch chain space. Correspondingly crochet the shell stitch. When reaching the starting position, crochet 2 double crochets into the same space. 2 chain stitches. Finally, slip stitch at the top of the turning chain. It's fine either way whether to tighten or not. The third round is complete. Break the yarn and weave in the ends. At this point, the explanation for crocheting the sleeve cuff is finished, and the entire of the sleeve is also explained. The sleeve crochet is now completed. Next is the assembly. Here, crochet 1 single crochet and 1 chain stitch. Connect the fabric to the armhole. Start by folding the sleeve in half along the turning chain side, then position the center top of the sleeve. Align with the corresponding position on the shoulder connection. You can secure it in place using a stitch marker. The side with the turning chain aligns with the underarm divider between the 2 chest panels. Secure it at the corresponding position on the body. After that, roughly find a few evenly spaced points on both sides to secure. Once done, start from the underarm side. Pick up stitches along the sleeve edge and armhole edge. Roughly work single crochets and chain stitches correspondingly. When encountering stitches, pick up the stitches. When encountering chain spaces, pick up the spaces. When encountering the side edge of a stitch, pick up 1 stitch in the space between strands. Or more securely, insert the hook into both strands. There's no strict rule for where to insert the hook for this connection, as long as it lays flat and looks neat after connecting. After completing the round, work a slip stitch into the first single crochet to join. The techniques used have all been demonstrated earlier. Everyone can complete this part according to their own situation. Now the explanation for the sleeves is complete. Next, we'll work on edging the main piece. Starting along the neckline, crochet in rounds for the front band, hem, and cuffs. The stitch pattern used here is the same as the sleeve edge, but you'll need to increase stitches at the corners. We'll use a new stitch technique, 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Please watch my demonstration. I'll use this small swatch for the demonstration. With the right side of the fabric facing up, find the right edge of the body piece. Pick up stitches along the edge starting point. Locate the chain stitch position corresponding to the first edge stitch. The edge is a beginning chain stitch. Insert the hook into the 2 strands of the chain stitch below to join the yarn. Make 1 chain stitch to start. Work 3 single crochets into the corresponding stitch, meaning you'll make 3 single crochets in the same position. Remember to weave in the ends. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. 3 stitches. Completed the 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. Pick up stitches along the front band. These are the edges of each row. When the edge is a double crochet, or a beginning chain for a double crochet, pick up the entire stitch. Work 2 single crochets in 1 stitch following this method. When the edge is a single crochet, pick up through the gaps on the edge. Actually, it's inserting into the stitch of a single crochet. Work 1 single crochet. Repeat this process. Finish crocheting this side of the front band. Keep crocheting until reaching the corner of the neckline. Next is the position in the chart where you work 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. Once you reach the corresponding position in the chart, pick up 1 stitch along the corner edge going downward. Work 3 single crochets in 1 stitch accordingly. Then for the neckline area, refer to the chart for picking up stitches, chain space or the side of the stitch pattern. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. There are no specific insertion points here, just work the required number of stitches within the corresponding area, and make sure the fabric lies flat after finishing. The method for the other side of the front band is symmetrical to this side. At the corner, work 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. For the rest of the areas, pick up stitches along the side of the row and work single crochets. Keep crocheting until reaching the edge where the body starts on the other end. Again, work 3 single crochets in 1 stitch at the corner. Insert the hook into the edge stitch's insertion point and start crocheting. Everyone please continue crocheting by referring to the chart. Finished working the 3 single crochets in 1 stitch at the body corner. Now pick up and work the next stitches going downward. Work 1 single crochet into each chain space here. When you come across stitches previously worked on the other side, insert the hook into their corresponding insertion points and crochet. When you reach a chain space, there is a hole underneath. You can pick up the stitch through the hole, or work into the 2 strands of the chain stitch. Then work single crochets correspondingly, one by one. Finish with the last stitch. Go down to the starting 3 single crochets in 1 stitch position. Pick up the first single crochet stitch here. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Next is round 2. Crochet the shell stitch pattern correspondingly, same as the second round stitch pattern on the cuff edge. Only when you reach the 3 single crochets in 1 stitch position, work the pattern on the first and third single crochets. For the remaining positions, skip the corresponding number of single crochets and work the pattern. Refer to the chart for the specific number of stitches to skip here. You can also adjust based on your own situation, as long as the fabric lies flat and looks nice after completing. Next for round 3, pick up stitches from the previous round. Match one by one and crochet the shell stitch pattern. The stitch techniques have been demonstrated before. Please complete it yourself by referring to the chart. So far, the explanation for crocheting the edging on the main part is finished. Finally, make and attach the decorations, consisting of small flowers, cherries and buttons. Among them, the small flowers and cherries need to be crocheted. First make the small flowers and cherries, then attach them to the corresponding positions on the main piece. Finally, attach the buttons on the front bands. First, crochet the small flower. Here we start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. You'll need to change colors during the process. The new stitch technique used is the treble crochet increase. Please watch my demonstration. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Start with a magic ring. At the beginning, leave a longer yarn tail, about 10 centimeters. Make 1 chain to begin after completing. Then pick up the center and crochet 10 single crochets. Close the ring after completing. Finally, pick up the first single crochet stitch. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The next round will be a color change. Break the yarn. This completes the first round. Now crochet the second round. Position the right side of the previous round facing you. The side with the beginning chain tail is the wrong side of the fabric. Insert the hook into the position where the slip stitch was made in the previous round to attach the new yarn. Weave in the short yarn tail as you crochet. Leave the long yarn tail at the back. No need to handle it. Then chain 4 to start. Work a treble crochet increase in the same position, which means crocheting 2 treble crochets. First, crochet the first stitch. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over and pull through. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 3 loops remaining. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops again. 2 loops remaining. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the treble crochet. Continue with 1 treble crochet. Complete the treble crochet increase. Pick up the adjacent stitch to the left and work a treble crochet increase. Then crochet 4 chain stitches. Pick up the same position and work 1 slip stitch. This slip stitch does not need to be tightened. Pick up the adjacent stitch to the left and work 1 slip stitch. Four chain stitches. Work a treble crochet increase in the same position. Work 1 treble crochet increase in the adjacent stitch. Four chain stitches. 1 slip stitch. I treat the stitches worked in these 2 stitches as a group. Continue repeating this method. Continue crocheting 3 groups. You can also refer to the chart for details. Finish the last group. Pick up the starting position below and work 1 slip stitch. Then cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. A small flower is done. Everyone follow the same method. Complete the corresponding number of small flowers. Remember to leave a long yarn tail at the beginning of each foundation chain. Next, make the cherry. It consists of leaves, the stem, and the fruit. First, crochet the leaves and the fruit separately. Then crochet the stem and assemble them. We'll use one new stitch technique, the triple treble crochet. Please watch my demonstration. First, crochet the leaf. Start with 9 chain stitches. Complete and make one beginning chain to start. Next, pick up the second chain stitch position from right to left. Here, pick up the back of the chain. The raised horizontal bar. This is the inner bump of the corresponding chain. Insert the hook and make one single crochet. Continue to the adjacent stitch, pick up the inner bump of the chain. Work 1/2 double crochet correspondingly into each stitch. 1 double crochet, 4 treble crochets, 1/2 double crochet, 'Here forms one leaf. Continue to crochet out another leaf. Work down with 9 chain stitches. Then make one beginning chain to start. Go back and start from the second chain. Pick up the inner bump, work one single crochet correspondingly into each stitch. 1/2 double crochet, 4 treble crochets, 1/2 double crochet, turn the previous leaf right side up. Make sure the 2 leaves don't twist between them. Go down and pick the first leaf on the left side. Placement of the stitch for the 1/2 double crochet, insert the hook and work one slip stitch to connect. No need to tighten here, then cut the yarn. Leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters underneath. Hide the starting yarn tail inside the fabric. Everyone can complete it by themselves. This completes one leaf. Now crochet downward to make the fruit. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Then chain 4 to begin. Next, pick up the center and work 3 double treble crochets. Yarn over the hook 3 times. Insert the hook. Yarn over and pull through. There should be 5 loops on the hook at this point. Yarn over and thread through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 4 times. Once. Twice. 3 times. 4 times. Complete the double treble crochet. Continue picking up the center, work 10 double treble crochets. Check the stitch count after completing. There are 11 double treble crochets here. Then close the loop. Make the right side of the stitch pop out. Pick up the top of the turning chain. At the topmost chain stitch, join with a slip stitch. You can either pull tight or not. Now it's time to close the bottom. First, make 1 chain stitch. Leave a 15 cm yarn tail underneath. Pull the yarn through. Tuck the starting yarn tail directly into the fabric. Thread the yarn through the needle. Start from the left side, working downward. Pick up the front loop of the stitch. There are 2 strands in this stitch. The one closer to the right side is the front loop. The other one is the back loop. Pick up the front loops one by one, working from bottom to top. Then tighten the yarn. Pick up the adjacent position. Pick up any one strand to secure it. To make it more secure, you can secure it one more time. The remaining yarn tail can be tucked directly into the fabric. This completes the fruit piece. Make another fruit using the same method for assembly. Next, crochet the flower stem and assemble. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Take one of the fruits. Position the stitches with the right side facing up. With the closed side facing upward. Then pick any 2 holes of the fruit. Insert the hook to join the yarn. Then crochet 5 chain stitches. Take the leaf piece. Locate the previous slip stitch position. On the front side, pick up the V-shaped loop of the slip stitch, and work a slip stitch. Then continue with 5 chain stitches. Take the other fruit. Similarly, pick any 2 holes at the top. Work a slip stitch to secure. Gently pull tight on this slip stitch. Then cut the yarn. Tuck both end tails inside the fruit. This way, one cherry is assembled. Everyone follow the same method to complete the corresponding number of cherries. Then proceed with the installation downward. The chart marks the position for attaching the decoration. You can refer to the chart and finished product effect, or adjust the position based on your preference. Now I'll demonstrate the installation method. First, install the small flower. On my sample here, the position is random. Use the previously reserved yarn tail. Thread the needle. Then pick the back side of the first round of the small flower. Sew it onto a corresponding position on the main piece. There's no specific technique required, as long as it's secure. Once done, pick up the wrong side, and tie a knot to secure. For extra security, you can tie a few more knots. Hide the remaining yarn tails into the fabric. This way the small flower is installed. Install the remaining small flowers to suitable positions using the same method. Everyone can complete this part on their own. Next, install the cherry. Center the leaf. Place it horizontally at the installation position. The fruit should hang naturally here. Then pick the position where the leaf is centered. Match and sew together roughly at the corresponding position on the wrong side. No specific requirements for this method, as long as it's secure. Don't sew through to the front side of the leaf here. To avoid affecting the appearance, insert the hook into the line segment on the wrong side. After sewing, take a look at the effect. Once it looks good, tie a few knots with the thread, and then hide it into the fabric. Please complete this on your own. That concludes the explanation for attaching the cherries. Similarly, use the same method to complete attaching the remaining cherries. Finally, attach the buttons. The buttons should be attached at the edging on the right side of the front band. One at the top corner and one at the bottom corner. Attach one button at each position and evenly space the buttons in between. You can adjust the number and position according to your preference. Use the same yarn from the main piece for sewing when attaching. There's no specific method required, as long as it's secure. Please complete this on your own. The other side of the main piece edging. The gaps between the patterns are the buttonholes. Attach the buttons to them. That concludes the explanation for attaching the buttons. Up to this point, the entire sweater making has been fully explained. If you have any unclear parts during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, stitch by stitch, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.